So in the second part of the interview, we're going to talk about a Spanish physicist in Singapore. So, José Ignacio, how does a Spanish particle physicist end up as the director of the Center for Quantum Technologies here in Singapore?
What a what a non-trivial story. Well, the centers for advanced technology in general, in all over the planet, typically they have to renew the directorship. It's very good to renew the directorship. So the Center for Quantum Technologies in Singapore, what they did is that they open a competition, and they call 100 people, and then they reduce to 20, and then to 10, and then to 5, and then to 4, and finally to 1. and I accepted to come. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So first of all, congratulations.
No.
But for us who are, just arrived in Singapore, or maybe they're from Spain listening, what exactly is the purpose for the Center for Quantum Technology in Singapore, and what are the main goals?
I think, one can answer in two different ways. One is the detail. Okay, you have to do these things, you have to guarantee those KPIs that people call them.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's very different. It's trivial. It's remain relevant.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy. Remain relevant in the world, and that's a much more complex KPI to stay relevant, because you have to modify things you are doing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to change. What you thought was a good figure of merit for your progress is no longer a good figure of merit. You have to change. Maybe now it's time to go a little bit more apply. Maybe now it's the time to reinforce a piece of theory that you thought it was not that relevant, and now it turns out to be relevant. Mm-hmm. Even worse, you have to get rid of certain things which are not that good. So actually staying relevant is a higher order task than the specific actions. Now the specific actions is to have a very good quantum communication program, to have sensors of high quality, or to build a quantum computer. We are doing all those things, but the key element is to be relevant.
And do you consider that in Singapore you can be, a center can remain relevant? That's the idea, right?
We are trying.
Yeah, and really hard.
We live a world where everything is a hype, and everybody is very good, superb, and everybody is, we at our university have the best team in the world doing that. As a matter of fact, almost every time you hear those things, it's false. It's extremely difficult to be good. Very difficult. So Singapore is on the top 5 centers in the planet, our center, which is a lot. Okay? To stay there, it's very difficult, and we are working hard. Okay? I hope we are succeeding. but I want to stay always away from all the shiny word, the pompous attitude.
Yeah.
I think that science should come with a lot of humbleness, and quite a dose of reality, of reality checking.
Well, I'm sure you will remain humble, but also at the top. So I'm really sure of that. But José Ignacio, working in Singapore, in the EU, in the United Arab States, working in those different countries, do you perceive there's a global interaction, global progress?
Let me make a point which is not very common. I think this is the time where we are really finding our friends, because the exploitation bans that we are suffering from other places are not making easy the scientific relation with certain countries. So it turns out that little by little we are getting better friends with some countries that were not on the top category. An example is the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. So for instance, now we are building a satellite here for quantum communications together with a company called Spectrum, and there will be tracking stations. So one of them will be in the Emirates. Maybe there will be another one in Israel. So can you believe that now it turns out that a good friend of Israel is the Emirates, and definitely Singapore, and probably Canada. So It's a time to rethink a little bit how our scientific relations work in the planet.
Wow, that's very interesting. So for those who come from Spain and have a Spanish background and want to work in Singapore, do you perceive that we're considered Spanish physicists like yourself an asset? So in which ways are we top on the market?
We are very good. I said before I don't want hype. And for that reason,
just this exception maybe.
Just for that reason, I think you can understand my words in a better way. The amount of good people, talented people that come from Spain, it's unbelievable. So the first thing I did when I came here is to bring two of my people here, and they perform by far better than the other colleagues. It's amazing that our universities keep this element of freedom and enthusiasm and people doing for the sake of it, not thinking whether they will get a good salary or whatever in science, that produces this, this cohort of people that you can tap on and systematically they're good. It's really remarkable. So let me just say that for one time. This is one of the good things of Spain.
No, fantastic.
We generate talent.
Wow. So keep in mind those for all the Singaporean companies or the government who may be listening, we really have talent.
We do.
Yes. So finally, I want to conclude this interview. So for any Spanish physicist like yourself some years ago who may want to pursue an international career like you have, what advice would you have for them?
Work for science. When people speculate about whether they have a job, a salary, whatever, they never become a good scientist. To be internationally relevant, you need to love science. And let me conclude with that. What is the meaning of life? I mean, is it what, making money? This is all what was expected from me in life. I think that science is an endeavor in life. It's a journey. It's what makes some meaning after all. So come on, let's work for the sake of it, for the sake of science.
Exactly. So remain passionate and work for science. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure interviewing you. Yes.
My pleasure.
See you next time with more content.